Hello there. We have
Alfonso.
Abhishek.
and Jasmine from B-GHUD. We hope you enjoyed and found our last video useful that we did on cue cards. So we are back again as a part 2 to discuss some more cue cards that were frequently asked. So let's begin.
So the first question is, someone you really like to spend time with.
Yeah. So what would be the keywords in this?
Someone like to spend time with. First of all, make sure that you establish the topic first. You should clearly specify as on what you're going to talk about here. In this question, you should specifically mention whom you are talking about.
So I think an example. Can you give me an example?
Like you can talk about a friend, a neighbor, your parents, your grandparents,
Relatives, anyone.
anyone,
Yeah.
right? So again, remember the question is someone, so it should be a single person.
Person, yes.
Right.
Then, what
Uh,
activity?
Ideas for what can we talk about? Why this spending time with this person was interesting
Yes.
or is interesting?
It would be a bright idea before moving on to the main content if you could give a brief description about the person,
Mm-hmm.
right? What his nature is like.
His or her
his
nature.
Why we
ability,
like to spend time?
Yes.
With this person. Yes.
right? And then the main content is about how you spend time together. You can talk about healthy conversations, for example.
Yes.
You can say whenever we meet each other, we talk about things that we like. Like there are certain areas of common interest, right?
Yes.
So that makes the conversation interesting.
If it creates a positive vibe for
Yes,
us,
that again
for
is a
them.
good point.
Or even if this person's very inspirational, you met this
Yes.
person and you got your daily dose of inspiration,
Yes.
or you got to hear a lot of things, learn new things.
Yes.
That could be what you found interesting.
Yes. Also, you can mention how you spend time together. Like you can say you go on vacations with this person.
Yeah. Or
Visit
we meet
places.
up once in a while for a cup of tea.
Yes. Or for shopping, maybe?
We
Yes,
go together.
that again
Yes.
is a good
Because
idea.
this person has great ideas of color set. and
Yes.
This makes the person very interesting. And
So remember, the main content should be about how you spend time with this person, and you can also add in about
The
trips that you
activity.
take together, or how you spend your
How
time.
relieved you are
Yeah.
Relieved
when you are with this
after
person.
this conversation.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's our first cue card.
Okay. So we have our second cue card. An interesting conversation you had with your friend.
What makes the keywords would be interesting conversation. So what are the ideas that we can think about
Again,
for
this should be a particular conversation. Your idea should be focused on one specific conversation.
Yeah.
Because the question, of course, is about conversation,
Yes.
right? So don't deviate from the topic.
topic? Yeah.
So the main content, without a question, would be about the conversation you
Yeah.
had with this person. So you need to briefly elaborate on the content of the conversation.
Should we talk about the person first?
First
Person, yes.
establish
If you
who
want,
you
you
are.
can definitely talk.
Just to give an intro,
Yes, yes.
like
You can
rather
even
than
talk
jumping into
about
the
the
conversation.
person. Yes, that's right. So again, about the conversation, make sure that you don't speak using direct speech. That again is important. You should
Yes.
use indirect
speech.
when
Can
it
you
comes
just
to the
state with an
speaking
example?
For example, you cannot say, he said it is interesting to visit that place.
Mhm.
Instead of that, you should say, he told me that it was an interesting visit.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be that was just an example.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be about the conversation. It can be anything of your choice.
A common interest, maybe.
Yes, like automobiles. Say, for example, if your friend and you liked automobiles or fashion, clothing, you can talk about a conversation you had on these topics.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Any-
it could be about some hobbies. I think from our last discussion about a skill that you learned from an older person, we can use similar ideas for this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what made it interesting? You can think about
Yes.
gardening or anything like
Anything.
that.
Yes.
Again, the keyword is interesting. You should bring in points to make the conversation sound interesting to the listener.
They have to just explain it to show that how interesting it was.
Yes.
Again, this could be about current scenarios too,
Yeah.
like the pandemic situation or about
Yeah.
the war.
Something that happened new.
Yes,
would give you added points. It shows that you're aware of the happenings around
around
you.
the world.
Mhm.
So
Right.
So
again,
it makes the examiner will come to know that you are updated about what is happening.
That you have a general awareness, which is very important.
That will make it very impressive, the
Yes,
exam
it
itself.
makes your answer quite a bit impressive.
So again, the main content of this cue card should be about conversation. And if you can, try to add in points related to interesting to make this conversation an interesting one.
Fine. Next question. A new place that you visited.
So the keywords are new place and visited. So let's discuss.
This question can be a bit confusing. Remember to talk about the place first. Make sure you mention about the place or what place it is in the beginning of your cue card. And then in the main content, you can talk about the visit.
Example.
For example, you can talk about your first visit to a seaside, or a park, or a garden.
Yeah.
A historical place, as you said.
Yes, a historical place. This was your first time visiting, and you can describe more about either the seaside or the beach that you went, and what was the attractions there, or what you saw.
Yes, about the scenery there, about your experience and what you did there.
Yeah.
You can come up with words like "I was really amused to see the place," or
Yes.
"I was really awestruck to see the place."
Yes.
That again is a good point.
Keeping in mind, this is your first visit to this place. So
Maybe a shopping mall, is that fine?
Yes, that's also a good idea. But clearly mention that it was your first visit to this place.
Yes. Can I talk about with whom did I go? Is that fine?
Yes, you can definitely talk about your friends, about your family members with whom you visited this place.
But the emphasis should
Should
be
be on
the
the
place
place and the
rather
things
than
that
the
you did.
person.
Yes.
Next question. A gift you would like to buy for your friend.
So the keywords are
A gift would like to buy for your friend.
So in the tense would be
The tense in this question is a bit tricky because when you describe about the gift that you intend to give, it should be in present tense, but the incident should be in future tense.
okay.
The occasion should be in future tense. Right. For example, you can talk about a bag, a watch.
that you would like to buy it for a friend, and then you can describe more about the features that you buy, right?
Yes. Like you could say you saw this bag in the shopping mall.
Yeah.
And then the description of the bag should be in present tense. Like you can say it is brown in color. It is made of leather. It is compact and has different pockets.
Let's discuss other ideas for a gift that we would like to buy. What about
Chocolates.
Chocolates.
Watch.
Chocolates, watch again. So again, your focus should be on expanding on the description of the gift.
Yes.
You should not be talking about more than one gift because specifically the
Yeah.
question is
Question.
a gift.
It's
A
about a gift that you
Yes.
wish to buy.
So what
Customized mug.
about- yes.
Customized mug is again a good idea.
Photo imprinted.
A photo
on it.
imprinted
Yes.
mug.
Very
Okay.
personalized gift.
Yes.
What about gift cards? So they can buy whatever they want with the card.
But again, a problem with a gift card is you won't get much things to talk about.
Yes.
Right?
Gift
Because
card. That's
gift-
all.
That's
Yes.
it. That's it, and you cannot talk much
In
about
case you
it.
get more ideas on it, please feel
Definitely,
free
you
to
can do that.
So when they get time for a 1 minute time preparation, that's when they have to decide which one specifically,
Yes.
rather than starting with one point, then we are not getting the ideas, then jumping into the other point. That is
So
risk.
learn to utilize that 1 minute
Yes.
effectively.
Okay, so the cue card is about a gift, and you should. Here you can use a variety of tenses, but make sure that when you describe the thing, it should be in present tense.
Can I also talk about that person to whom I'm giving the gift?
Yes, again, a brief description would be.
But the focus should be about the gift,
Yes.
like the one we told for last cue card, a new place.
Yeah.
Focus is on the
Exactly.
place, but we can also say with whom did we went
Visit that
Yeah.
place.
As the plot of the whole thing.
Yes.
to
That's
have a complete story about it.
yes. Yeah.
Next question. A thing you cannot live without. You cannot speak about mobile phones or computer.
Okay, so what would be the keywords here?
Of course, it's about a thing
Yes.
cannot live without.
Cannot live without. So let's think about ideas. Like, what would we talk about? I know it's a very tough thing to.
Yes. The
once
first thing
mobile
that comes to our
phones are-
mind is mobile phone or
Phone,
computers.
computers.
That's taken away from the equation. It is.
What
pretty-
about a diary, personal diary?
Personal diary is a very good option that you can talk about in this question. Again, in the main content, first tell what it is, and then in the main content.
I think we
Talk
should
how-
also speak about like the tense.
Yeah.
Yes, tense again is important in this question. You should definitely stick on with present tense, how this is
Yes.
related to your life. But again, you can quote an incident in the past where you lost this thing and how it affected
You were
your life.
restless.
Yes, you were
How you
restless.
felt
How you felt
bad.
bad about this.
That's when you realize you can't live without
Yes,
it.
maybe that was the point.
Yeah.
So if you quote an incident in the past, definitely you should use past tense. Apart from that, how this thing is a part and parcel of your life, you should mention it in present tense. The features, the thing that you do with this, everything should be in present tense.
So, examples are diary.
Can you talk about camera if that person is very much interested into photography? Yes.
Yes,
Their
you can talk
profession
about
is that.
camera. And then again, talk about the camera and how it is, or it has impacted or changed your life.
Yeah.
How it is now very important, closely related to you.
Okay.
Then you can think of other things that are related to your profession too for this cue card.
What about a car? Because you're commuting using the car
Car is
every
again
day.
very good.
Any vehicle that you really love, and you
Yes.
can say it's my favorite, and so I bought it.
Especially for this, for this idea, you can say that you live in a city where public transportation is not
Is
that
not.
developed. So you rely on your car for your daily commute. So again, that's a very
It is
good idea.
unavoidable.
Yeah.
It's an
Or in your
unavoidable.
work situation, you need a calculator or a clock. It's all becoming age
Yes.
old, but we can say without a clock, without my watch.
Oh, yes,
that again
watch.
is- because again, with this you can relate it to your profession too,
Yes.
because your profession requires time management.
Yes.
Yeah.
If the person is an accountant, then
Yes.
calculator is a necessity.
And daily, like if you're in a habit of wearing a watch rather than looking for time elsewhere, so when you don't have the watch, you feel missing.
Yes.
Yes,
So-
uncomfortable.
Yes. So that's one of the things that I can't.
Okay, so briefly describe the thing and then talk how it is related to your life. So that is your main content. Remember, it's better to avoid any electronic gadgets if possible, because they might change the question, paraphrase the question, and ask you cannot talk about any electronic gadgets for the main test.
Yeah.
So diary, a calculator,
Clock, watch.
Clock.
And they should
Watch.
not talk about more than one, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
They should
that's
stick
again
on
just
to just one.
Just one.
Explain it, give some description about it, how they use it, why they use it, and based on the sub questions. Okay, so we have our next question. A difficult thing you did.
Okay, so for this question, the keywords are
A difficult thing that you did. Difficult thing
difficult.
and did.
Yes, difficult is a very, very
Important,
keyword.
yes.
It's not about a simple thing that you did. You should exaggerate,
Focus on that.
focus, and speak a lot
Why
about.
it was difficult, what
Yes.
made it difficult, what you did.
And what about the tense?
Tense, of course, past tense.
Yeah, that
Of
you
course,
did.
past tense, because the question itself is in past tense.
Mhm.
For example, for this question, I can talk about a time I sang a song for the first time.
An attempt that you made.
Yes, exactly. I can talk about this. Again, for this question, you should make the examiner believe that it was a difficult task by exaggerating a bit about the topic. For example, I could say, when I faced the audience, I was shivering from tip to toe.
Yes.
That's a very good idea that you could take. And
Stage
again-
fright.
Yes. Again, you can mention, initially I felt that my voice was not coming out. But then I closed my eyes and I gave it an attempt. So you should make
You should tell why it was difficult,
Yes.
basically. Or it could be the first time, and in another instances, the first time I tried riding a bicycle, I did not have balance, and it was such a difficult task for me, and I fell down, but somehow I succeeded.
yes.
What about any adventurous sports?
Adventure sport is again, sports are again a very good thing that you could talk about here. You can talk about paragliding, scuba diving.
You can take
Skiing.
instances from movies like
Yes, as we were experiencing.
But again, here it is better if you could say that you were not actually interested to it, but
Yeah.
your friend forced
forced you
Yes.
to
you to go for this. Because again, you should exaggerate. Keep in
like a
mind that
certain
you.
movie where you had
No, what if I am only interested in it, but then it was difficult for me. Like, for
Yeah.
example, bungee jumping. I'm afraid of heights, but still I want to do it.
Yeah.
That's something in the
also
bucket
good.
list.
That's also good. But again, you should focus. Your primary focus should be on how difficult,
Difficult.
it was.
Yeah.
Then you wanted to just back out from
Yeah.
it.
Last minute fright.
Yes.
Fear.
Okay, what about cooking something for the first time?
Yeah.
I think we might have experienced it more.
How it was not successful in the first try, or how you made it edible using some.
Right. Your first attempt again in cooking sounds like a good idea. We have actually discussed a cue card on a time when I attempted to do something but not very successful. In that specific cue
We
card,
have talked about
we've
it.
talked about a time when I attempted to cook something.
Yeah.
So we'll pin a link in the description box below, right? So you could
Do watch it. Yes.
Yes.
So that's not the answer to the exact cue card, but still you can take ideas
An
from that.
idea.
So that means what you're trying to say is same ideas can be used for 2 cue cards.
Yes, of course, you can use it. But again, in our previous video, as I said, if I learn about Ratan Tata, I can speak about him as a business person,
Yes.
a person who inspired me,
Somebody
a
you
person
follow on social
media.
media.
But based on the content of the cue card, I should
You have to
make
just
changes
rearrange.
Yeah.
for the cue card.
You're asked only one cue card at the end of the day.
Yes.
You're just
Yes.
preparing for a lot. So you can always have.
Everything should be based on the keywords.
Yes.
That's true.
And the tense.
Yes. Okay, so next question. Describe a time when you needed to use your imagination.
Okay.
I think for the cue cards, maybe you'll
Yeah.
require a lot of imagination.
Yes.
Other than that,
definitely.
you cannot say that, right?
Of course,
You
can't
cannot
say
say that.
say that.
Okay.
Apart from that, what else can you think of? Oh, first let's talk about the keywords.
Keywords.
Yes.
A time, imagination.
And it's in the past.
Yes. when you
Again,
have
remember,
to.
had to use your
Yeah.
imagination means you are forced to. You were left with no other
Yeah.
option
Mm-hmm.
than to use an imagination. For
Mhm.
example, you can talk about a competition where you were forced to participate.
Yeah.
For example, on a special occasion like the World Environment Day.
Environment
Mhm.
Day. So you had to draw a picture, write a poem, or write a story
Yes,
about something.
that's
That's for an
why-
art competition.
Yeah. Mostly situations like that where you have to use your imagination.
For example, you can say the topic was about global warming. I thought if, even though I knew the concept or I knew about global warming, I had to draw
To put
something
it down,
Something- Yeah.
you require ideas.
require imagination. So your main content should be how you used your imagination to come up with a beautiful picture.
Yes. And then you can actually say I came up with
A
big
globe and
yes.
ice melting down.
Yeah, and it crying with 2 eyes that it was
Yes.
facing.
What about organizing a birthday party for your niece or nephew?
Yeah.
Organizing a birthday
Yes.
party again is a very good idea, but you should specifically mention how you used your imagination. Like,
Mhm.
for example, if my sister or my niece
Mhm.
really likes Cinderella, I should use that theme to decorate
The
the
whole
whole place, make a
Yes.
cake based on this theme.
Yes.
Or let's say
Customized.
Frozen. So Frozen has a lot of blue colors.
Yes.
So
Blue and white
making
combinations.
sure the whole house is decorated in that. So that is where we use our
Imagination.
to make sure that it's decorated in a certain theme
Yes.
that we can talk about.
Yes,
All right. And make sure that she's happy. Right?
yes, of course, your niece should be happy. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
On another note, yes.
All right. We have next question. A clothing that someone gave you.
Clothing. So the keywords would be
Clothing gave you.
Yes.
give you.
It's
So
like a
Basically,
gift.
It's like a gift.
gift.
Yes.
Yeah. So here we can also talk about if it's a hand me down, a pre-loved cloth that you had an eye on it. Your elder sister, your elder.
Jasmine, what is
Pre-love.
Pre-love.
I'm not sure.
It means something that was already used by someone. So
Okay.
for clothes, usually we don't buy clothes that are. It's a similar term to second hand.
Okay.
That's called pre-loved. So we usually go for second hand electronics as well as
Books.
books. Yes, all. So we're trying to reuse, reduce,
Yes.
recycle.
All right.
So
So,
on that note, we try to upcycle things. So
is it
that's
basically something that we receive from our siblings?
when it comes to clothes,
Of
we
course.
can
Generally, that's what
Yes.
we can
Within
within
relate to.
families we look for something that we like, that a shirt that our brother owns, when they grow fat or they grow out of it, we rather take it than let it go to waste. So
Yes.
that's
So this
when-
is one thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a very
Very good
idea,
point.
Very good point. Again, the main content of the cue card should be about the cloth,
Yeah.
the thing, the description of the cloth. For example, if it's a sari, you
Yeah.
can say it is made of a special type of silk.
Mhm.
It has beautiful works in its edges.
The color
Color
The colour.
combinations,
Yes, colour
thread
combinations.
works if there
Yeah,
is
you can
a
talk
short
a lot
works.
about sari, right?
Yes.
You can.
Yes.
But again, saris are quite common these days.
Yeah.
If you can try to come up with something a bit more new,
Innovative.
try to be
Yeah.
creative.
Like a shrug, or something that's that can be used
Jacket,
in multiple things,
shrug,
jackets or
anything.
a shawl. Yeah.
So
It was
what
a
that
piece of
matters the
clothing.
most is about the clothing,
Yeah.
the description
describe
of the
it.
clothing.
Yeah.
And then
Being
again,
able to talk.
specifically mention how you got it, or who gave it to you.
So when you describe, you can talk about the color or the
Yes.
material,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
something like
And the look. So in
Yes.
other words, the listener should understand what it is, should be able to picturize what
yes.
it is from
By
your
our
explanation.
description, they should be able to picturize
Right.
it.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, we have a next question. A habit your friend has and you want to develop.
Okay. So what would be the keywords?
Habit. Yes.
And develop. Develop is again a very important keyword that many students tend to miss out.
Mhm.
You can talk about any habit and why you want to develop it. So first of all, again,
Tense.
establish the topic
Yeah.
first.
Mhm.
Focus on tense
Tense.
and how you wish to develop it. So you can talk about your friend, right? You can talk about a habit that he has, like getting up early in the morning.
That was impressive to you. So you need to have more points to talk about why you want to develop this habit, why you found this habit impressive.
Useful, if it's useful
Yes.
to that particular person, so you are feeling that okay, it might be useful for me also.
Like we spoke about being disciplined. So a lot of us have friends who are very
Yes.
disciplined. So those are some habits that we wish.
Again, you can also talk about doing some exercise, going for a walk.
Yes,
That
in the
again-
morning.
That again is
Work out in the morning.
Definitely wish I could, but yeah.
But
Hitting
again,
the gym?
yes.
Yes.
But again, you can say
fitness.
you can say that this has really helped him to maintain a good physique.
You saw this.
That was an inspiration for
Inspiration
you.
for
You
Yes.
saw that positive change, so you.
Yes.
Again, you
Want to
should
develop.
you should try and specify as on why you didn't start it yet. I mean, it's not about starting it; it's about
Why you-
developing
Yes.
the habit.
It's
which
like a
means-
process.
which means that you have attempted to do this
Before.
but you are not not really into it
Mhm.
yet. So that is
Kind of
again,
like the New Year resolutions we take every
Ah,
year.
that's
Every year.
yes.
But don't talk about that. We're talking about a habit that you want. That was
So
there.
you can say once or twice I have accompanied my friend for a walk, but I haven't been able to develop it as a habit yet.
Yeah.
So that's a very important thing that you need to bear in
Or
mind.
like
Again,
Any
brushing
other
teeth in the
examples?
morning.
yes.
We all do brush our teeth. No.
Okay, any other examples that you can say for your examination?
Right. Jokes apart,
Yeah.
come back. Let's be serious.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So you can talk about an exercise.
Or reading books.
Reading books is again a very good idea.
A lot of people.
Organizing things.
Organizing things, very good.
Some people travel very.
Yes.
They're very. We see videos of people folding
Mhm,
things,
mhm.
and also, I wish I had that habit. So it's a habit I'd like to develop.
Right. So it's all about
be
the
organized.
habit
Yeah.
and then how you want to develop it. Again, if you can, you should try and mention as on why you didn't have enough time to develop it yet. You can
Mhm.
say, right now I am having a very busy schedule at work. So probably I'd start this
Work, studies, and
habit when I get my next vacation, because it is the ideal time for me to
Mhm.
start this
Get
habit.
things done.
Yes. Right, so that's
Okay.
about it.
Next question, an item on which you spent more than expected.
Okay, keywords.
Item,
Yes.
spend more than expected.
So
Past
that-
tense?
Of course,
Yeah.
past tense because expected.
Yeah. So that being said, it should be something that you wanted to buy very specifically, very
Something that's planned.
specific. Yeah, that's
That was planned because expected is the word. I mean, it's a very important keyword.
And
You should also specify the budget that
Yeah.
what your initial budget
Yes.
was. And
for,
Only then it will be clear.
Yes.
Otherwise, they
for
will not
instance,
understand.
I went to a shop to buy a dress,
Mhm.
and I saw another dress that was really my favorite color. The material was nice, and I ended up spending more money, and I bought the second dress that I saw. Yes,
So you should talk about the how much you spend exactly, right?
Exactly. Yes, that again. So you should say you spend more than you had anticipated.
Yeah.
That is
More
Any
than
other
my
examples?
budget.
Electronic gadgets?
yes. You can say you went to buy a smartphone. Your budget was roughly around 10,000. Once you went to the shop, the shopkeeper told that
They-
there is a new
yes.
launch. That,
Or
I mean,
Specifications.
We end up falling
That
for
we
all
were
of
not
this.
aware of.
Yeah.
right? So you could also say when I gave it a second thought, I thought this
It's a
particular mobile
long-term
phone.
investment, so
Yes.
I felt that this
And this need not be always unpleasant, right? It can be a good thing that you wanted to buy something for
Yes, towards
thousands.
the end, in
It
the
can-
conclusion part, you can say, okay, now that when I look back at my decision,
I
I
feel it
I
was
feel
a
that it was a very
wise
good
one.
wise
Decision,
one.
yes. But when we read this question, the first thing that comes to our mind is it should be unpleasant. We were
Mhm.
expecting something and
Not necessary.
not necessary. It can be both ways.
You can also talk about, just as an idea, about online purchase where you started with one thing in your cart and you ended up
Yes.
with like more.
But
expensive
to be
things.
specific, we should only speak about
one
one
item.
item.
Yes,
Yeah.
something.
Just as an introduction, as you said, you can say this and then
Yeah.
specifically
ended up
talk about
buying
an item, describe
The
it.
same thing. Instead of buying something for 3,000 rupees or $100, you ended up buying it for $200 or 5,000 rupees. Or either ways, a
Yes.
small and big amount.
All right, we have our last question. An activity you do that wastes your time.
Keywords, just
Activity, waste your time. So there are a lot of things.
Yes.
Looking back into our lives.
So the first thing that comes to my mind is using social media.
yes, social media is a very good idea that you can come up with. Again, your focus should be as on how much time you spend using social media.
And which application you spend.
Yes, and how it wastes your
And why
time.
you feel, it's a waste of time.
Yes.
That is
For
again
example, scrolling down Instagram, reels, watching reels.
Mhm. But you can also specify how you started this activity. You can say, "I started it to kill my boredom,"
Time.
or you can say, "My friend suggested me to start an account to keep in touch with my friends."
Yes.
So initially, I just started it as a leisure activity, and then
I ended up just scrolling and watching
Watching
videos of
videos quite
shorts or
often,
reels.
YouTube videos also you can
you
talk
should
about.
accelerate a bit here too. You can say,
Why you feel it's a waste of time, because
Yes.
that is
Yes.
the one of the keywords.
you can say you spend 3 to 4 hours of your productive time watching.
Looking back, you realize that there was so many other useful things you could have done with
Yes.
this time.
After your job, you can rather sleep, get some rest.
Yeah.
Rather than that, if you're straining more, then you'll not be able to sleep. You'll not get enough
You
time.
won't have a productive day the
Life,
next
yes.
Also, you can add in points like your parents have already started scolding you because you right enough don't have enough time to do any exercise, spend time with family.
Family,
Right.
yes.
So these are things that you can add on.
Other than
towards
that,
the end.
any other
Apart from
examples?
social media,
Watching
what else
series?
watching CDs is a
Yes.
good idea. So anything that is not of any good to you,
Yeah.
that is what that wastes your time.
All right.
Okay. So I hope you really liked our video. If you haven't watched part 1, we'll put a link in the description box below. Thank you so much once again for watching. If you haven't subscribed our channel yet, please do subscribe and support us. Also share our video with your friends.
Yes.
Thank you so much once again. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.